Hi, lovely. You're here if you have understood what a healthy relationship with food is as far as I work with it and I think of it. And it sounds nice to you. It sounds like something that you want if you could have it, if it were that simple. But you're wondering if it is quite that simple because it doesn't feel like it. And if going down this path towards that as a goal makes sense for you and is right for you. So that's what we're going to discuss. And what I'm going to start with is the primary concerns and questions that tend to come up at this point. So those are, what would happen to my weight if I went down this path towards this goal? Is it possible for me to have a healthy relationship with food? And is that dependent on anything? What if I'm not happy with where my body ends up as a result of gaining this relationship with food? And will life actually be better with this relationship with food? Because it means giving up certain things like dieting, restricting, and the highs of that, and also emotional eating and binge eating, and kind of that emotional roller coaster, which can be devastating, but it can also be very entertaining and can serve different roles. So will life even be better? And you'll also probably be wondering, how do people actually move from disordered eating to a great relationship with food? And that's something which we can discuss, and we'll discuss that beyond this video. So I'm actually going to start with, is it possible for me to have a healthy relationship with food? And so I don't know you. We haven't met yet, most likely. But my take on this is that your relationship with food is the way that it is for a reason. And there's many different factors which are going into it right now to create this disordered eating, which again is such a high level term. And everything in it can be broken down into something very tangible. And I think one of the reasons why people don't think that it's possible for them is because they don't actually understand the specifics of what a healthy relationship with food actually means. And they don't understand how to get there. And they focus far too much on what they're eating rather than all the reasons why they don't have a healthy relationship with food in the first place. And what a lot of people do, in my experience, is they hear about a healthy relationship with food, maybe from me, and they understandably take all of their experiences with dieting or trying to control their food or trying to maintain balance with eating and not succeeding at that in their mind, because they were using willpower essentially and dealing with the surface stuff. But anyway, they take all of that experience of, I can't be trusted, I'm a failure at this, and this is not going to work for me, here we go again. They take all of that into the goal of a healthy relationship with food when they think about it, because they think that was about food and that didn't work, and this looks like it's about food, so how on earth can that work? This happens quite regularly now because the intuitive eating movement has become a lot bigger, that I will speak with someone who says, I really don't think I can have a healthy relationship with food because, I've tried intuitive eating for a while and I still binge, I still feel like I'm thinking about food often, I still feel like I overeat. And then invariably what will happen when I ask them, okay, just walk me through your approach to intuitive eating, help me to understand. And then they'll say things like, okay, well, I was trying to only eat when I'm hungry and stop when I'm full, do that most of the time. And I was trying not to emotionally eat, and I was trying not to drink my calories, and I was trying to make balanced meals, and I was trying to eat enough, and trying to reduce sugar, etc. These are the kind of things that would come up, the word trying a lot. And so what's happened here, which is completely understandable, what's happened here is someone has heard about intuitive eating, it makes sense logically, makes sense on the tin, and then they take the intuitive eating principles almost, and they turn it into a new set of rules without meaning to. And then they try to enforce them. And that is not gaining a healthy relationship with food at all. Gaining a healthy relationship with food means looking at, okay, eating when I'm hungry and stopping when I'm satiated most of the time. That seems to be like part of a healthy relationship with food. Okay. I'm currently finding it difficult to do that naturally So what needs to fundamentally change underneath that so that it comes naturally to me to eat when I'm hungry and stop eating when I'm satiated most of the time? Another example, okay, reducing emotional eating. Okay, that seems like it's part of a healthy relationship with food. That makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to recognize when I'm not hungry and I want to eat, and I'm really going to try to not do that. And maybe I'll call a friend or go for a walk instead, and I'll just try to not emotionally eat. But gaining a healthy relationship with food, the difference there is I recognize I want to eat often when I'm not physically hungry or I want to eat past satiety. That's interesting. I wonder what that's about. I wonder what is driving that. Then exploring what types of emotional eating that they're doing, what needs that it's serving, etc. And taking the necessary steps to address those emotions and those needs effectively in the right way so that the urge to emotionally eat does not come up nearly as much, because some is normal and healthy. So there is the key difference and the missing link, and why gaining a healthy relationship with food is nothing like any of the dieting or willpower plans or anything like that. And why gaining a healthy relationship with food actually has very little to do with any discussions about food whatsoever. And that's why I often say I help women gain a normal and healthy relationship with food without relying on rules, restrictions, or willpower. Not just because that's more pleasant to do it that way, but because it's fundamentally necessary. Gaining a healthy relationship with food that comes naturally to us is the point. And that people haven't actually done. And so when people come to me and they say, and I've worked with women who are in their 60s and 70s as well, and they come and they say, I really don't think I can have a healthy relationship with food because I've been trying all of my life. I've really been trying all of my life. And when we get into what it is that they've tried, it's things like keto, or I tried eating when I'm hungry and stopping when I'm full. I've tried fasting, I've tried this, I've tried that, all things surrounding trying to maintain control in one way or another when you break it all the way down. And I say to them, and I'll say the same thing to you, I say to them, this is good news, really, because essentially what you've been doing for a long time is saying, I really, really want to learn to drive. And then you've gone out and you've bought a bike and you've been pedaling away for hours and hours and hours, trying really, really hard, putting so much energy and effort into it. You've been trying so hard. And then you're like, oh, I'm not any closer to being able to drive a car. Okay, I'm going to go and get a scooter. Spending hours practicing scootering around. Like, oh, I'm not any closer to driving a car. It's like, well, of course you're not, because you haven't been focused on the things that you need to focus on to be able to drive a car. And it's the same with a healthy relationship with food. I imagine that you've actually got so much discipline and energy and focus and ability and capability, so much of it, maybe even more than the average person. And it's just that it's been going into the wrong places, as it were. And imagine all of that when it's put into the right places and the underlying reasons why each part of your relationship with food isn't particularly healthy are actually addressed so that it can come naturally to you. The next common concern that comes up of, even if I think that I'm capable of having a healthy relationship with food and moving towards that, what is going to happen to my weight? So I'm going to put it back to you and say, if you had that healthy relationship with food, which we outlined, so eating freely without over or under eating, can hear your hunger and satiety cues, you're not really emotionally eating, you're tending more towards nourishing food because you want it, you can trust yourself fully around food, you have healthy control with food, all of that stuff. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, by the way, then that was in one of the previous videos that I made, which you can check out. But just as a thought experiment, if you woke up with that relationship with food, all of it, would you trust your body to take care of its own weight regulation, first and foremost? And if the answer to that is yes, then the next question is, okay, so I trust my way to do that, but what if I don't like I like to call it my natural healthy weight. So the weight and body that we have that is in response to a healthy relationship with food, because they go hand in hand. To change outside of our natural healthy weight would mean by default we no longer have a healthy relationship with food, if you see what I mean. So they go hand in hand. Next question is, what if I don't like my natural healthy weight, even if I want that relationship with food? And this is a big question, but I'll do my best The honest answer is that in order to move down the path of gaining a healthy relationship with food, that path also involves improving body image. Because if you gained a healthy relationship with food and your body settled somewhere and you were really, really unhappy with it and it was impacting your life and your sense of confidence, etc., i.e., you still have bad body image, then it's not really going to be a likely outcome that you can maintain that healthy relationship with food. So they kind of go hand in hand. Moving towards a healthy relationship with food, in my experience, means also moving towards good body image. And when I say good body image, I think, and I've asked this on my YouTube channel, so I know that there's lots of different responses. I think it's important for me to define what I mean by that. So this is my definition of what good body image means, and it's the way that I work with it. Good body image means that my body does not determine anything that I think of myself, anything that I feel, anything that I do, anything that I wear, anything that I feel I deserve to have, and anything that I go after in life. And that might be different to your idea of good body image. Some people consider it to be, I like the way that I look. They're different things. My body does not impact my life and sense of self. Conversely, bad body image, I would define it as the opposite. So my body determines absolutely everything that I think of myself, everything that I feel, everything that I do, everything that I wear, everything I feel I deserve to have, and everything that I go after in life. Those are kind of like the two extremes. I'm not sure anyone really falls on either absolute extreme. And so this is about choice. So my question to you is, that definition of good body image, is that also what you want? Is that also what you want? Really, really, really important question. And if you say yes, I don't know how, and I have concerns about that, but yes, that sounds really nice. I'd like a healthy relationship with food, to settle at my natural healthy weight, to be taking care of my health and fitness from a place of ease and pure passion and enjoyment. And I'd like to be free to live my life and feel confident and good on my terms. Not because of what the scale says, essentially. And if that's the case, then to me, those goals are congruent, and that's a really good thing, because then they're attainable. Do you see what I mean? Then the next question becomes, how do people do that? That's what I will share with you in the next video, if you want to click there now.